Hello, everyone. We are back with the next candidate. Chris Brase is here, and he's running for the Iowa State Senate. Hello, Chris. How are
Hello.
you?
Thank you.
So the first question we'll get started right off the bat here. Why are you running for Iowa State Senate?
Well, as most people know, I've served one term prior in the state Senate. Um, I put a lot of thought into this running, and I just looked at Iowa in general, and I think we can do better. I think we can move Iowa forward. There's so much more we're capable of doing that I think needs to be done. I mean, we can be leaders in education again. We can rebuild our infrastructure. We can address our health concerns. And that's the motivation behind me, is that I believe Iowa can be better. I believe we can move Iowa forward. And I think that the people's voices need to be heard.
The state Senate handles a wide variety of topics for the citizens of the state of Iowa. What experience do you have that you feel qualifies you for this office?
Well, there's kind of two parts to that. One is I've spent 29 years as a firefighter in public service, and have had the opportunity to see what poverty looks like, to see what homeless looks like, to be in various businesses and industry and seen their growth. That is part of it, is that experience. And the fact that I've had 4 years in the Senate, I have an understanding of how the process works and to move Iowa forward.
COVID 19 has driven many decisions made by all levels of government and households in Iowa. After the healthy and safety of Iowans, what are your biggest concerns the state will face as we continue through the pandemic?
COVID is going to make an impact on the revenues that the state's going to gain. Iowa's been doing fairly good with those revenues, but I believe there will be a decrease in the revenues, and we have to keep that in mind. I think as the citizens of Iowa, as Iowa, we can do more in our part to limit the spread of the COVID virus. We have to keep our businesses open, and to do that, we have to limit that spread. And if the numbers continue to spike, and with winter coming, I believe that we will see an increase in the spike. There may become a time where we need to consider a mandate on masks, and whether it be for 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever is necessary. But if that is an inconvenience that we have to put out there or mandate to keep our businesses open, that's the route we need to go. Our small businesses cannot afford to be shut down.
In your opinion, what is the number one issue facing Iowans at this time, and how would you address this issue?
I don't know if I can say there's a number one issue. Um, Everything is so intertwined and interrelated. Education affects so many things throughout Iowa. To me, education is everybody's foundation. It's the foundation to their career, to what they choose to do in life. And so to me, education has to be a priority. We have to make sure that we're giving our youth, our children, every opportunity to succeed. And the education is the foundation of that. So I think that's where it starts. That is a very true statement. I mean, there's balances throughout it all. Um, I'm here to represent my district, not only the Muscatine community, but the portions of Scott County and Davenport and the other areas that I represent. So I kind of look at it as a broader spectrum of Eastern Iowa and what we can do to improve Eastern Iowa, and trying to balance out the state. But it is, as your representative, it's my job to try to bring what I can back to my community to help boost their areas. It's a tough balance to do, but it's a necessary one.
If you win the election, how will you work with fellow senators to better the lives of Muscatine County residents?
I've always been open. I mean, the one thing that I've learned through politics, It's not the things that divide us, it's the things that bring us together that you can get done. When I was in the Senate before, I worked bipartisan on an naloxone bill back in, I think it was 14 or 13, I can't remember the exact date, where it passed the Democratic controlled Senate and was in the House. And I was able to work with my Republican colleagues in the House to give them an understanding of why that bill was important. And because of that communication, that open discussion, we were able to move that bill through and get it signed into law. And I think that's what it takes at all levels, is you have to be willing to go to whoever it is and say, this is the issue. What do you see in it? What do you like? What do you not like? And probably the most important question is, how do I get you to say yes on supporting it?
The topic of mental health has been raised as one of the key issues facing Muscatine County. Please give us your perception of the current situation and what you would do if elected to address this issue at the state level.
At the state level, we have to get more mental health beds available. My profession in the fire service, I've had a very firsthand knowledge of how the system's working, and I'm going to try to summarize it quickly, is that someone has a mental health crisis. They call 911, so it's either police or EMS that gets involved. We take that person to the most expensive healthcare facility there is, called an emergency room. They get an evaluation. Telecommunication has helped tremendously. But then if it's mandated, they get a 3-day bed somewhere in Iowa. And we have to transport them. They get 3 days of treatment and told to follow up with their personal physician or a mental health facility that they don't have to begin with. And it's a vicious cycle. That cycle needs to be broken by getting mental health beds available to get physicians out there for the treatment. And Iowa needs to work to get those beds out there.
Economic development in Iowa and specifically Muscatine County are also hot topics. How do you feel the state of Iowa can support economic growth and development in Muscatine County?
I think for Eastern Iowa and Muscatine County specifically, is that we looked into a micromodal port authority in this area. There was a bi-state region study done on it. I know there was a presentation to the Muscatine City Council. I believe that is something that we need to move forward with. And my commitment would be to work with my local supervisors, the local, city elected officials, my state officials, and even what I can get from federal officials to move forward with that. A port authority like that would bring opportunity for shipments for our businesses, but it would also bring more businesses to Muscatine. And I think there's a huge step forward or a huge opportunity for Muscatine and Eastern Iowa. And that would be my goal, would be to move forward with that.
The state budget will be more complex than normal over the foreseeable future due to COVID-19 and the federal government support. How will you stay prepared for making these complex decisions?
The COVID's going to affect the revenue in the budget, but the process of setting the state budget will be the same as every year. And it is complex as we talk about different departments in different areas and how we set their budgets. The hardest part for the legislators is setting the priorities of which ones need the most attention. For me, it would be education and our healthcare system. Those are our two priorities we have to focus on and then move from there. And that's the way to work the budget, is more about setting the priorities and making the adjustments necessary.
So last question, what is the most important thing you would like voters to know about you that they may not already know?
I am a people person. I believe in people. I generally give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm open and I'm willing to listen. And not only hear what you're saying, but to try to understand what you're saying from your perspective. We all have grown through different experiences. and I do not understand everything that you've been through. And it's willing to be able to just listen to the people and to truly understand and care about the issue. One of the things that I was taught by my parents growing up is you respect people enough to listen, but you got to care enough to help. And I think that's what's driven me through my career, through the fire service, and just through life, is that I believe things can be better and we can help one another.
Great. Thank you so much for coming in today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for your time.